What a wonderful, oh, wonderful. I was born by the river in a little tent. Oh, and just like the river, I've been running ever since. It's been a long, long time coming, but I know, whoa, change gonna come. Oh, yes it will. Y'all know about, what y'all know about that Sam Cooke, Mr. Soul? Darling, you send me. I know you. You send me, honest you do. Honest you do, honest you do. Let me tell you about the cha-cha-cha. I wanna see you do the cha-cha-cha. Can you cha-cha-cha, man? Can you do the cha-cha-cha? Sam Cooke, also known as Mr. Soul. Look, I'm singing some of his hits because I don't know how it slipped past me all these years. I finally sat down last night and I was just chilling, flicking through the TV and messed around, started fooling with the apps and like Netflix and all of that, and I made it to Prime Video, and how you click through there and checking out movies. I know what was going on. I've been watching, the apps, the streaming apps, past couple of days, and since 4th of July, and I love Jason Statham movies. Jason Statham movies. I love Tom Cruise movies. Anything with action, a futuristic action pack like the Marvel, DC movies, anything like that. I love those kind of movies. But one thing about it, damn Tom Cruise, my favorite actor, one of my favorite actors in his genre of movies. All his damn movies like 2 hours and 40 minutes. Like, man, goddamn, Tom, can you do an hour and 50 like everybody else? Damn, but he has to tell a story. I just couldn't finish that damn Minority Report. Have you ever seen that? Because I love all his movies, except for a few, of course. But I couldn't stay awake watching that damn Minority Report. And that movie was made, 10, 20 years ago, whatever. But if Tom Cruise is in it, I'm more likely I'm watching it, like, as far as his action movies. And I also watched the Coming to America. I watched the Coming to America Part 2. Finally watched it, and yeah, wasn't as bad as I thought, but the agenda was very clear. They're pushing the female agenda in there, and I didn't like the fact that the song created out of one night stand with an ugly chick and all that kind of stuff. But I appreciated bringing all the characters back. What actually shook me was when they actually brought back those twins. My name is Think, and they both on the field. Those two chicks, it was in the club, the twins. And it's 30 years later. I said, that was interesting. I chuckled at that. Yeah, the agenda was real. As relates to the whole gender nonsense they keep pushing in the movies. Everybody knows that a king, in order to keep a legacy going, one has to have a son, and that's what it's always been. If you're going to talk about kings and queens, in order for a king to continue, he has to have an heir, a male heir. But of course, leave it to America, leave it to this feminist, liberal nonsense, of course. Wait a minute, girls can't do this, girls can't do that. That's the shit they want to push in the movie. No doggone well, no one's preventing women from doing anything now. If you're going to call yourself living in a kingdom or a monarch kind of deal, that's right, you got to have an heir. Hell, let's take it away from being a king. There are a lot of men who are regular men want to have sons so they can carry on their names. So I looked past all of that, but it was cool the way they brought everybody back. It was cool. But the agenda is real. They still trying to push girls. And then of course he came back. He was a bumbling goofball. I know I'm behind because I didn't even want to watch because I knew the agenda was real, but you know, I wasn't doing anything, so I just clicked on it and I watched that as well. It was yeah, good to see the old characters come back, and I was really shook when he brought those twins back from the nightclub when they was out there, the two rapping. I said, yeah, it's been 30 years because they gained more than 30 pounds, but it's good to see them. But anyway, that's not why I came on live to talk about that particular movie. I just want to throw that out there. I saw another movie that I kind of looked past, not for any reason in particular, but a lot of stuff get past me because I might have been distracted on some other things. Like in 2020, 2021, we were all distracted. But I know with the whole advent of creation of streaming and all of that, you get to see movies. You know how they show reruns on regular TV and stuff, and then you get to see the movies that you probably never got to see at the movie theaters, so they bring it on the streaming. And so I was clicking through the whole Prime Video and all that, blah, 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 and I came across One Night in Miami. And I should know better than to just go by a title of movies. You use those movies with those kind of weird titles. Those turn out to be the most interesting movies. I'll give you an example. A movie that came out years ago is called The Kite Runner. Now, you never thought that movie is about, yeah, it's got, I won't even get it, but you would trust me, it's foolishness. It's made a movie based out of India, but it was some, man, them folks were playing in there. Like, God, dog. So, and also a movie, Planes and Trains, or Trains. Who never thought that movie would be about just heavy heroin addiction and heroin usage? So here's another movie that got past me. Like at the Oscars, you're like, well, damn, what movie was that? Like The Hurt Locker. What the hell is The Hurt Locker? It won like 7 or 8 Oscars years ago. It was a movie about war, World War II, and a lot going on in that damn movie. So sometimes we have to look past the movies, the title of the movie, just kind of allow ourselves to check them out. Yeah, that's how I got caught up in the movie. I got caught up in an actress that was in the movie, Janelle Monáe. And that movie that she was in, referred to as the movie Black Mountain for the Ghetto. What's the name of that damn? You got the black father and the black son in it. I'll look it up later, but y'all know what I'm talking about. It won for Best Picture over La La Land that year. What's the name of that damn movie? Anyway, y'all let me know. But yeah, I saw Janelle Monáe. That's when Janelle Monáe was still liking girls and just as beautiful. I said, shit, Janelle Monáe in this movie? Let me go check it out. I got up in there like, oh no, whoa, what the? And so. But anyway, so One Night in Miami, there was another movie title that kind of didn't really pique my interest. I'm like, but so and years later, I had the conversation with somebody about the movie, and somebody said, well, it's about this, it's about that. You got Malcolm in it, and blah, blah, blah. So, okay, still put it off. So I watched it, and let me tell you, I don't know, I may watch it again because it was really good. You know, the movie, if you haven't seen it, if you're one who's really into what's going on in our people and how it impacts those who consider, like the people who speak out, you know, who like to use their voices and use their money and their energy and their time and their brains and their emotions and everything about them to try to educate our people of what's going on. That movie there, man, it was something. You talking about being convicted? Well, when I saw that movie, I was like, man, I went through a roller coaster of emotions. I was like, damn, that's me. Wow, I didn't know Malcolm. Wow. And so I made a lot of changes from watching that movie and seeing the representation. And it was based on a true story, by the way. Based on a true story. So, you know, they had for drama effects and all that, theatrical effects, certain licenses were taken, I know. But it was just the way it was written and the way it was directed. Shout out to actress Regina King. Good job, Regina. Should have gotten more accolades than they did. I think that movie, they got a couple of Oscars for screenplay. Shout out to Kemp Powers, the black dude. That movie is based on a screenplay that he did. And I think it was an actual play in 2013. So they got together and yeah, it was really good, y'all. So, but the movie had four, probably my favorite human beings in a hotel room: Malcolm X, Sam Cooke, Jim Brown, and Muhammad Ali. It was set in February 25th of 1964. Muhammad Ali had just won the title against Sonny Liston, and they all were supposed to be going out to an after party, but Malcolm suggested they all meet in his room. And the way each one of their stories were brought out, and how all of them just had to have the conversation with each other as it relates to their approach to the civil rights movement, and number two, their approach to all of the things that were going on with black folks in their time, and with the brutality of Jim Crow and the brutality of segregation and black people being brutalized, police brutality, and just, man, the heart of it. And what I learned was the varying approaches to it, and a lot of assumptions being made. And the dynamic between Malcolm and Sam Cooke, I'm telling you, it's worth the movie itself. Because those two people exist right now. Sam Cooke, the entertainer, who said, hey, man, we need to get this money and all this. And then Malcolm was like, look, man, we ain't got time to be buck dancing and moonshining for these white folks. And so then Jim Brown was like, he was pretty much like the level head, and Muhammad Ali was the young guy who's always searching for truth. And he really admired Malcolm. He's pretty much following path of Malcolm. And it was just, I just sat there, man. I was just blown away. And I saw me in that room with them, just sitting there eating popcorn. I was in the room with those gentlemen and just listened to all of the varying perspectives and how they got into it, and learning that all four of these men were friends. No, I'm going by the movie. Maybe in real life as well. I do know that Sam Cooke, Malcolm X, and Muhammad Ali all were friends in real life. If you look at some of the old footages, Muhammad Ali, you see him and Sam Cooke singing songs together. You see videos of Muhammad Ali and Malcolm X. But to have all those three, plus I did not know that Jim Brown was so close to them. And Jim Brown's one of my favorite black athletes. And if some of these football players could be like Jim Brown, I'm going to tell you. But Jim Brown said, nah, I can't be no Muslim. I like pork chops. I like white women too much. And y'all know the history of Jim Brown. Jim Brown was accused of throwing some white actress over the balcony at his home one night. This is like in the 60s and early 70s. Jim Brown and eldest, what's his name? Aldis Hodges, and then Aldis Hodges, their brother, who plays in Leverage, the show Leverage, and other movies. I think he did a good Jim Brown, very even-tempered, low-key. What I liked about that movie, there was no white savior in there. It was just full black men, man, going at it and sharing each other what's on their minds, and I mean, even all that fussing and going back and forth, there was an understanding there that came with each one of them. So, even in my ripe old age, I said, at each one of those points, especially Malcolm, I said I saw a lot of me in him, what his inner struggle was, and what his view of what the struggle was, and how black people should purport themselves. And I even saw some Muhammad Ali there, but I also understood where Jim Brown was coming from. Malcolm pretty much set the tone, said, hey, we all have positions where we can really make an impact. And when you come through the whole movie, a lot of stuff was said. God dog. They each realize that they can learn from each other, and because we're all trying to get to the same place, we're just taking different paths. Some are more militant than others. Others believe in subtlety. And so to see Sam Cooke, Sam Cooke was a mother lover. I'm here to tell you. That dude was something else with himself. You know, but even with all that flash and all the money Sam Cooke owned a record label, put a lot of black men and black artists on in the 60s. But Sam Cooke had a white Jew that was over his money and all that. That wasn't mentioned, but it was implied in the movie. Alan Klein was his manager and other things. If you read the story of Sam Cooke, you hear that name a lot, even almost to the point of when he was killed in that hotel. And so his wife is in the beginning of the movie, Barbara, and it can show that there was some friction, you know, based on the documentaries and reports. Sam Cooke had different hoes and different area codes, more than Ludacris, with a wife during his marriage. He just did him. He just, you know, very arrogant, cocky, had money, but still. And it was interesting when the movie opens up. He's in the Palms somewhere in Miami. They're in Miami, right? He's in a quote the white hotel, and his wife makes a mention of it, but she said, "Well, I like it. It's nice." But Malcolm is in, quote, I guess, on the other side of town, the black neighborhood, in the hotel that wasn't as fancy and all of that. That's where it was, and it was just, I'm telling y'all, I guess it may sound like I'm rambling and anything, because I don't want to just give away the whole movie. I just want y'all to understand the essence and the power of that movie, the messaging in that movie, and how it impacted me. How when I sat there, like, well, damn, I had always thought this for the longest. I got to change this shit up, man. Black folks, and this is now I'm talking about 2025. Now, this is 1964, during the heart of the year before the Voting Rights Act and all of this going on. Negroes were resistant then, but they were more with Malcolm than that time. But the thing is, the black entertainers, they weren't hardly just going there as much as we like to think. We hear about the Sidney Poitiers and Harry Belafontes, but the rest of them are like, nah, I ain't getting in that. I'm gonna make my money and close my mouth and move on. But one thing Malcolm said, eventually, goddamn, it's gonna come to you. And so Sam eventually asked, like, he asked Jim Brown, do you really think I don't know what's going on? But like I've always said myself, this shit is so bad, it's so tough psychologically that black folks 100 years ago, 150 years ago, we did things in order to survive under racism and white supremacy. Marrying outside the race, moving away, whatever we do to think to ease the comfort in captivity. And so it leads me to believe why the civil rights movement and movement for integration came about by these particular groups of blacks, the black gays, black Greeks, and black preachers. They didn't want to do what Malcolm was suggesting. They wanted, like, can we do something else? Because we don't want to die. We don't really want to get hung. We don't want to get beat by police. So maybe we say, hey, y'all, just let us, we'll just let us sit there. We won't bother you, but just let us sit there. We'll be quiet. That's pretty much what they wanted. Because if they can get in that system and make $1 or $2 and get comfortable, well, it was okay for them. They didn't fight for the masses of black. They fought for those who wanted to be comfortable in captivity. And so the movie really brought more clarity to why we behaved the way we behave today, and why our black entertainers are just unless they're pressed, they don't really say much. They just go and make their money. They talk about racism, but they move right into white neighborhoods. They talk about racism, but they send their kids to majority white schools. They talk about racism, but here you are marrying a white woman, you marrying a white man, but you're talking about racism. Get the fuck out of here. So I can see where Malcolm and Sam and Jim and Muhammad Ali were coming from, but the people who made the most impact on me was Sam and Malcolm. That dichotomy right there is what we're fighting today. And I'm here to tell you, I learned a lot of course, the great Malcolm, but I learned so much in understanding why Sam Cooke did what he did, because there was so many blacks who just they weren't up for that fight. So they're like, shit, if I can just give me a couple of dollars, man, and just going over here, I ain't got time for all of that. And Sam understood. He said, shit, just like a lot of us are finally understanding that economics, not begging, not integration, not assimilation, but economics is the key to power, is the key to some type of independence. And it does. But Elijah Muhammad said it years ago, black folks, we tried everything under the sun. We prayed in, we slept in, we crawled in, we kneeled in, we did everything. But one thing we have not tried was the most powerful thing that we have, more powerful than an atomic bomb. And that is black unity. And even today, but to say something like that today, black power and black unity, that offends blacks because we've bought into the whole, it don't matter, race is not a problem. Not a problem anyways. You know, but too many of us, those of us who are allowed to get in, I got in on my hard work. So you think out of 45 million blacks, 1 million now, y'all worked harder than the rest of us, motherfucker? That's the tribute. You got to work hard. I worked hard. I got what I get. You don't think 40 other million black folks don't work hard? That's that arrogance of a lot of black elites and black bourgeois. They shake hands with white men, like Sam Cooke do, shake hands and all that, but still get treated like an N-word. Your boy Jay-Z said, still nigga. And he got his N-word wake-up call in the movie, but still, Sam was doing something very significant. You know, get that money. And Malcolm's like, okay, you get the money, what you doing with it? And one of the most powerful scenes, there were so many of them, but the one that stood out the most, well, I mean, not the most, but of many powerful scenes, is Malcolm, when Sam was getting on his ass, Malcolm said, okay, I got something for your ass. I said, damn, Malcolm Cook, I got something for your ass. He went into his record collection and he pulled out a Bob Dylan song. Y'all probably never heard of it. Some of you maybe have never heard of Bob Dylan. Bob Dylan was a folk singer who, like a lot of those kind of liberal beatnik kind of Caucasians back then. He wrote a song, Blowing in the Wind, and he played that for Sam. He said, see, why you around here singing these love songs and trying to make everybody feel good? Let me tell you what this white man, the song he made during these turbulent times, he ain't got nothing to lose. He got money, he ain't got nothing to lose or none of that, but he decided to make a song like this, song that's charting better than all your songs that you said they're charting. Because Sam had just broke down all the money he made by letting white artists sing song to him and Bobby Womack and his brothers. They were called the Ballatinos back then. So all right, you think about letting white boys sing your little love song, they go to the top of the charts, and Sam was like, yeah, and I get paid off of all of them. Sam broke it down how he made their money. But Malcolm said, check this out. Song called Blowing in the Wind, and it said, how many roads does a man have to travel, and how many roads does he have to go down for him to be considered a man? And it went on questioning, in other words, what the hell we got to do? We've done everything. You still don't view us as human beings. And he was like, he said, this white man did this song, this revolutionary song, ain't had nothing to lose as a white man. And it went number one, more than any one of your love songs put together. And Sam looked at him like, got kind of mad about it. And you'll know later on in the movie, but Sam was like, yeah, I heard the song when it first came out. Yeah, I got mad about it because, why? He said he wanted to do something like that. Jim Brown asked him, or Muhammad asked him, look, you can write one. He said, I got one I've been working on. I ain't never sung it for anybody. I've never done it. That could really kind of, reflect on the times that they're living in the 1960s with all the nonsense going on. And so And turns out the song is, no, it's a long, long time coming, and I know change gonna come. That was his answer to Bob Dylan's Blowing in the Wind, or his version of Bob Dylan's Blowing in the Wind. And in the movie, he sings it, and as he sings it, no, he's on one of these white pop shows, because blacks didn't have any shows back then. So every time you saw an artist sing in black and white back then, it was always on a white show, because blacks were not allowed. Blacks didn't have the access. And so he sang his little song, Darling You Send Me, Darling You Send Me. It was a love song, but he sang A Change Gonna Come. And at the end of the song, he wiped a tear from his face. See, whichever route you think you're taking, and you think you're going under the radar and beating this thing, it'll always steal and come and kick your ass. So you might as well listen to what Malcolm was saying and be straight up about it. I don't like it. I don't care about it. And this is why I write the way I write, to sing the way I sing. But, the entertainers, I'm just here to make people laugh. I'm here to make people smile. I'm here to make people sing as your neighborhoods are being bludgeoned by drugs and bludgeoned by the police, bludgeoned by redlining and all this shit is going on. That was going on then. It's going on now. So... oh, yeah, way before Trump was elected, for those of you who want to be smart. See, that was Trump. No. It was going on way before then. Matter of fact, the Trump thing looked like it was reversing some of that bullshit. But anyway, I know some of you are going to try to throw that in there. So I'd invite you, if you want to have a transformative experience like I did, checking out that movie. I mean, that movie hit me. This is the last time a movie really made an impact on me that way, dude. I started changing the way I do things. Last night, when I watched the damn movie, and I processed it, I said, you know what? I'm done. It keeps me broke. Because, when you're fighting the cause, it keeps you broke. If you don't have no sponsors, you hear nobody wants to support you, because they're like, it ain't about race. Why you say this? Why you say that? See, you get all that. They don't translate it into currency. And, and it weighs on your mental health. It weighs on your pocket. Motherfuckers be broke, mad, losing their minds. It reminds me of a lot of our scholars, who told the truth. The books that we refuse to read today. Our scholars, over 100 years, wrote these books, did these lectures, but they died broke. They died depressed or died angry trying to fight for black people. And the shit is difficult when you have the masses who would rather laugh and be entertained, or thinking that, well, if I pledge this, if I join this organization, I'm gonna be shielded from racism. No, white supremacy. If I move to this neighborhood, if I don't tell my kids about racism, I won't inundate their mind with feeling oppressed. It ain't about that. It's about education. We do all kinds of things to keep from just standing up and being black. Well, I'm gonna let it be known, I'm done with the shit. Y'all ain't gotta worry about me. No more. I'm out. Because since COVID, I've been fucked up since then. Thinking about doing all this shit. Y'all see the posts I put about, don't nobody care. And because how you say it, no, it ain't how I say it. People have moved on. People don't think racism is real. The only time black folks get activated by racism is based on what political candidate gets in office. We fucked up. It don't matter what political candidate gets in office. Racism against blacks. So much so that immigrants don't even feel it. Everybody is having a blast, except for us. Oh, so yeah, you individually in your homes, you're supposed to take advantage of this capitalism, But all of us, at some point, made decisions to we believe that it'll shield us from the effects of racism and white supremacy. It doesn't happen when you are the born and created target of it. And so I'm done, y'all. You ain't got to worry about no more pro-black stuff for me. You ain't got to worry about that. Now, unlike Jim Brown, I don't have a taste and a liking for white women. So you ain't got to worry about me marrying one or creating a kid with no Caucasian. You ain't got to worry about that. I got too much self-respect and self-pride, and I respect the movement too much for that. But as far as like me putting out these messages or thinking I'm educating, nah. Y'all kids now don't even give a shit. They love rap music. They talk about how we murder each other. A lot of y'all sons and daughters trying to be trans now. So them thinking about racism is the last thing on their mind. Or trying to build a fence. I'm done with that. I'm not going to not talk about it anymore. What I'm going to do is just write it down. Want to hear my perspectives about what's going on? I'll sell it to you. Because I got a whole lot of articles that I've never even put on my Facebook page, my Instagram. I'm done. Tired of being broke. Then Rico, can you do them both? I guess I'm learning how. You know, like Malcolm. Shit, Malcolm was on a mission. And black folks didn't support him. You know, he had to wait until he get invited to white universities in order for him to speak. And if he spoke around black folks in the Nation of Islam. But not a lot of the black institutions invited Malcolm, paid him a fee to come speak. Because there was a lot of boulets and the black Greeks and the gays and preachers. They was all over the nonprofit. So they weren't trying to invite a Malcolm X. Just like now, they don't invite no Malcolm X types to their functions. They don't invite no Dr. Francis Cress Welsing or Sister Shahrazad Ali to speak at their events. They bring everybody else who speak like them. Even though I'm doing really well, I got a 2-story house and I live nice, my kids got scholarships in the bank and all that shit, but we still gonna talk about racism. So, I'm done. And I'm telling you, I felt better. I let it go last night. I let the pro-black shit go. I let all of it go, and I'm 56 years old. It's done. So, I'll be seeing y'all. It's time for me to get to the books, get back to the books, get off this shit. Again, if you want to hear what I think, you can buy it from me. I sell the newsletters. If you want to hear what I think, I got newsletters. They're $1 a piece. But I still have a lot of thoughts, but I'm not going to put that much energy into it now because, you know, don't make no money. And we all know if you don't have any dollars, you can't make change. And it don't make sense. So, and I guess it's certainly not connected to those groups that lived or fought against Malcolm X. And I'm not connected to these black groups that fought against Malcolm X because he was, I guess, too radical. So, yeah, the move is transformative for me. And I want to invite y'all to go, for those of you who are, if you're a so-called conscious black or you're, as they say, pro-black and all that, I invite you to watch the movie as well, to hear that, to see that dynamic. If you haven't, maybe I'm the only one who hasn't seen it. But if you haven't seen the movie One Night in Miami, especially black men, heterosexual, masculine black men, I want to invite you to go check the movie out. It's awesome. So, I'll see y'all in the fall. I got a lot of work. I got a lot of shit to catch up on. So, yeah. Y'all stay black. Peace.